Island of the Blue Dolphins novel study by Scott Odell. Characters. Karana. Karana is the main character in the book. She is a California Native American girl that lives on an island off the coast of California called San Nicolas Island. Karana is very brave, practical, loyal, determined, resourceful, and smart. She starts to face many obstacles after the Lutes come and kill lots of their tribe's people. After the Lutes left, white men came to take her tribe away to a safer place, and she is left alone on the island with no one there. She has to start using her resourcefulness, intelligence, and bravery to survive. One quote from the text is, "I would take one of the canoes and go to the country that lay toward the east." Page 65. Karana is also very loving, compassionate, and forgiving during all the many obstacles she faces. She always is very kind to all the animals and her brother throughout the book. One quote from that part is, "Yet when I felt the sand under my feet, I forgot the things I planned to do and ran up and gave him a hug." Page 43. Ramo. Ramo is Karana's Native American younger brother, and he is 6 years old. He lives with Karana on an island off of the coast of California called San Nicolas Island. Ramo is very fast, observant, and curious, but he is also imaginative and disobedient. One quote from the text is, "There, running along the cliff, the fishing spear held over his head was Ramo." Page 41. Captain Orlov. Captain Orlov is the chief or captain of the Lute tribe. He came to San Nicolas Island to hunt for otter pelts and ended up killing almost all of them and kept them for himself because he was very greedy. Captain Orlov is also very clever and smart, though, but he still is a very bad man. One quote from the text is, "He suddenly smiled through his long teeth." Page 8. Setting. The setting in this story is on an island off of the coast of California called San Nicolas Island. The island is 2 leagues long and 1 league wide, and if you were standing on one of the hills that rise in the middle of it, you would think that it looked like a dolphin lying on its side with its tail pointing toward the sunrise, its nose pointing to the sunset, and its fins making wreaths in the rocky ledges along the shore. Also, the island is really windy and blows almost every day, mostly from the northwest and the east, and once in a while from the south. On the island, there's also a village named Galasat that lay east of the hills on a small mesa near Coral Cove, and a good spring. About a half league to the north is another spring. One quote from the text is, "The first thing you would notice about our island, I think, is the wind. It blows almost every day, sometimes from the northwest and sometimes from the east, and once in a while from the south." Page 10. Main events. Number 1. The Aleuts come to the island to hunt sea otter for their pelts. Number 2. The natives and the Aleuts have a battle over the otter pelts, and the chief was killed. Number 3. The white men came to save the natives and take them away from the island, but Karana and Ramo were left behind. Number 4. Ramo was killed by a pack of wild dogs. Number 5. Karana settles on the island, builds a new home, and adopts the leader of the wild dogs, which she names Rontu, and keeps him as her pet and companion. Number 6. The Aleuts come back to the island. Karana goes into hiding with Rontu and meets the Aleut girl. Number 7. The white men come back and take Karana to Mission Santa Barbara. Theme. 2 themes of the novel are survival and bravery. I know that survival is a thing because Karana was living off of the resources there to survive. One piece of text evidence is, while I was building the fence and the house, I ate shellfish and perch, which I cooked on a flat rock. Afterwards, I made 2 utensils. I know that bravery is a theme too, because Karana was brave when she tried to kill the squid. Some text evidence is, I drove the knife down his body, and as I did this, I was suddenly covered, or so it seems, with a countless number of leeches, sucking at my skin. Fortunately, one hand was free, the hand that held the knife. And again, I struck down through the tough hide. The suckers which were fastened to me and pained greatly lessened their hold. Slowly the arms stopped moving and then grew limp. Genre. This genre is historical fiction. I know that it is historical fiction because some of it was based off of the actual events that happened, but some weren't. Vocabulary words. Abalone, a large mollusk. One quote is, the pack must have slunk into the village soon after we left, for it had gorged itself upon the abalone we had not taken. Page 44. Ravine, a narrow, deep saddened valley commonly ended by running water. One quote is, I made my way through the heavy brush and moving swiftly down the ravine until I came to the sea cliffs. Page 4. Mesa, a land formation. One quote is, our women were gathering at the end of the mesa. Page 4. Continue of vocab words. Parley, a discussion or conference. One quote from the text is, I come in peace and wish to parley, he said to the men on the shore. Page 5. Heed, to give careful attention to. One quote from the text is, the wild dogs had been to the house many times that winter, and she had paid no heed to them. But the night before, after they had come and gone, he had stood at the fence. Page 114. Connection to California history. This novel had lots of things that connected to California history and what we studied in social studies. One thing it connected to is the California Native Americans and how they had to live off of the land and use the natural resources there to survive. For example, in the book, Karana had to use yucca fibers to make a skirt. She also had to make utensils out of rocks. Another thing it connected to was the missionaries and how they took lots of Indians to the missions. For example, 3 white men, one being Father Junipero Serra, came to the islands of the Blue Dolphins and took Karana to Mission Santa Barbara. The next thing it connected to was how the California Native American Indians hunted and gathered the food they needed. For example, Karana and her tribe hunted animals, and the women gathered nuts, seeds, and berries. Lastly, it connected to how the California Native American Indians believed in different gods and honored and worshipped them. For example, Karana's tribe believed in those types of gods, and they also believed that if women were to make weapons, the 4 winds would blow in, the earth would tremble, or the sea would rise over the island in a terrible flood. Those are all of the things that connected to California history. Animals from the novel. There are lots of animals that live on the island of the Blue Dolphins. Some of the animals there are fish, wild dogs, dolphins, devilfish/squid, abalone, otter, sea elephants, and birds. Putting myself in Karana's shoes. If I were to be in Karana's shoes and live on an island by myself for 18 years, I would be very scared. It would be really scary having a pack of wild dogs on the island especially after they killed my brother and they could kill me. Also, the law of the tribe says that women can't make weapons or else bad things would happen, and so I couldn't defend myself against the wild dogs. In addition, I would have to hunt animals for food and gather lots of resources to make my house and other things. Also, I wouldn't be able to see anybody, and my only friends would be animals. In fact, even if people were to come to the island, I would have to go into hiding, and if it were the Lutes, I would have to stay in hiding until they left. Lastly, I'll be really sad knowing that I would never see my family again, and that I probably would never have any friends again. Those are the reasons why I would not want to be in Karana's shoes on the island by myself for 18 years. The end. Thank you for watching. I hope you learned something about the story Island of the Blue Dolphins.